Hey, what's going on, you guys? Matt and Steven coming back at you with the Casual Smarks podcast, Raw Review podcast for March 21st, 2016. I'm just going to come out and say it straight up. After a brutal Raw to watch. I don't know. Do you agree with me, Steve? I mean, it was kind of.
Well, like I said, it is a Raw leading up to WrestleMania. So
not only
that everyone is saying that just shows you how bad of a show it is.
Yeah, dude, you're right. A Raw leading up to WrestleMania. Not only that, literally, this is the second Raw before WrestleMania. It's not even like next week is the last Raw before WrestleMania. So, I mean, the fact that they put out a stinker like this, I mean, shows you.
You know, the matches that were added tonight, or was it only one match? I don't even. But
it doesn't give us a lot to look forward to. I mean, here.
Biggest show of the year.
I'm going to make a quick note. This podcast most likely will be shorter than most of our podcasts because honestly, there wasn't really much to talk about last night. And I mean, let's get into it. We had Stephanie McMahon opening up with a promo. Basically,
hey, when has that ever happened?
I mean, out of nowhere, she comes out and cuts she cuts a promo, and
guess what happens after that?
Tell us, Steven.
Strowman reigns.
So, for the first time ever in the history of Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns came out and interrupted Stephanie McMahon when she was cutting a promo. If you can't tell I'm being sarcastic right now, then, well, honestly, you haven't watched Raw in the last year. It's happened at least for the last 4 months, probably 3/4 of the Raw where the Authority will come out and Roman Reigns interrupts the Authority. This case, it was just Stephanie McMahon. But I mean, there wasn't really a lot of substance to this promo. She basically just talked about, before she got interrupted, she talked about how Triple H wasn't there because he had business to attend to. She basically said it wasn't Roman Reigns' fault. And then Roman Reigns came out, and said, oh, he's not here because I kicked his ass last week. And Roman, I mean, it was a short promo, which is what he needs to do. Here's the problem, though. Hey, guys, if you wanted to do the whole, have Roman show up, kick ass, leave, not say a lot, be a badass thing, you should have done it 3 months ago at TLC or the night after TLC after he beat down Triple H the first time. But you know what?
Now, because he's getting a reaction, man, he's getting booed while he's doing it. So it's just, nobody cares.
Well, you know why? Because they jumped the gun. They didn't do it when they should have, and now he has zero heat behind him. So when he does things like this, people just don't care. We don't care. And it's not just smarky fans. It's the casual fans, the people who watch just who aren't really big wrestling fans, but who watch to be entertained. These guys are booing him now too, because there's no reason. I mean, he's a stale character, is what he is. He's a stale character. It's not Roman's fault. It's creative's fault.
Well, shirt of the day. I told you guys I'd wear a different shirt every podcast until I run out. I got the CM Punk shirt.
Nice. I was going to do the same thing, and I totally forgot. I'm just wearing a normal shirt. But I do got my super kick to the face and a CM Punk poster in the back. So if you guys hate Phillip Brooks, then you're probably tuned out of this podcast already. But if you like Phillip Brooks...
Hey, man, our average retention is 36 seconds.
That's true.
Anyways.
But I was going to say, but... we were there for the pipe bomb promo, so you cannot take CM Punk out of our souls. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next segment, which was Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles, which they're doing for free again for the 100th time. I got
some notes, yeah.
Did I say 100th time?
Match on a Raw?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm going to go through the match. Why was it on Raw? Okay, here's the thing. They did it on SmackDown. That's fine. No one's going to remember SmackDown. Now they're doing it for a second time on Raw, which is just giving. I mean, I don't know why they continuously give away matches like this for free. But
it was another good match. Like, I mean, this match was freaking good, man, and it was on a Raw for nothing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're right. I'm going to kind of build off. I'm going to build off of what you're saying. It was a really good match. I mean, there was a lot of good spots in the match. I mean, there was one spot where Kevin Owens threw AJ Styles into the barricade, and it was like an Arnaldus Chapman fastball. Like, he slugged him into that barricade. I was like, holy shit. And then there was also an awesome face buster by Styles in this match. KO did a top rope. Yeah, exactly. KO did a top rope frog splash, like an Eddie Guerrero frog splash, which I could buy. which I could buy as his finisher because he's 200 pounds or 275 pounds. That guy, that would hurt. Like I like that. And then like I think what you were kind of alluding to, there was the sunset flip spot where Owens' head just crashed against the canvas. You even remember what you said?
When that happened.
Yeah, man.
That's concussion city right there.
Dude, yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get a concussion. Maybe he does. But anyways, so really good spot-filled match. I was listening to another podcast where one of the guys were saying they need to stop doing all these false finishes, which to an extent I kind of agree with because I've been watching some classic matches over the weekend and they didn't do all these false finishes, and a frog splash like that or a big spot like that sunset flip. 10, 15 years ago, that would have ended the match, and now they're kind of cheapening those moves. But regardless,
I was gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Chris Jericho came out. Of course, he started saying AJ Styles again. Kevin Owens got a roll up, and why couldn't he just get like a pop-up powerbomb real quick?
I agree. You know what it was? I think it was because they did that on SmackDown. But here's the thing: even if no one watches SmackDown, who cares? Or even if people watched SmackDown and saw that, I would have been perfectly fine with them doing it again. Have Y2J come out, cost AJ the match, and have Kevin Owens use his finisher and get his finisher over even more.
I agree.
Common sense. Yeah, but like you said, Y2J comes out and he does his AJ Styles, and that was the match there. Then they leave, but KO cuts a promo after the match, says, "Hey, it's the Kevin Owens show." Then Ziggler interrupts, then Miz interrupts, then Sami Zayn interrupts. They didn't really say anything of substance. They just all stuck claim to why they should face him. Ole, I do have a note on here where the crowd was pretty over Sami Zayn. It was Philadelphia, and they started off really hot. Then as the show progressed, as it was horrible, they kind of died down, and I would have died down too. But they were chanting Ole for Sami Zayn, which is cool. It's cool seeing him get a reaction. And then KO says he's going to ask the Authority. Basically, KO said, "Hey, all right, none of you guys deserve a title shot, but I'm going to go ask the Authority to make a triple threat number one contenders match for my title." And we're going to move on in a second from this segment, and then we'll get to the later Owens segments. But I do want to make a quick side note here. This show was the Kevin Owens show. If there was any saving grace to this horrible show, it was that Kevin Owens proved his value. He was great.
What I was gonna say, my bomb notes that I got here. I loved how Kevin Owens went to the Authorities and asked for a match, because when Chris Jericho was a face, this fool would be like, "We're gonna have a tag team match." This fool was Teddy Long, and Kevin Owens is actually not making matches because you can't even do that in the first place.
Yeah, it was
asking the Authorities.
It was cool that he said he was going to go ask the Authority. What happened next is we got a backstage, not even backstage, it was out of the arena segment with Dean Ambrose, and he was, I think, in a bar again or something like that, somewhere in Philadelphia, and he was with Terry Funk, which, can I say, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
But
No, here, I know what you're going to get, and I'm going to let you say your opinion. Dude, I'm going to say one thing. It's cool to see Terry Funk. I almost said CM Punk. It was cool to see Terry Funk on WWE television, especially a night after I had watched the Ric Flair Terry Funk I Quit match the night before. So I was like, "Oh, hey, look, there's Terry Funk." He was so good. He was so good. And him and Ambrose, just like Ambrose and Foley, they share a lot of similarities. They both kind of have that wacky lunatic, edge to them. So I thought that was cool. Go ahead. I know where you're going to go with this.
Terry Funk, it was another passing of the torch. Like they fully gave him the barbed wire bat last week. Terry Funk gives this guy a working chainsaw. So is Dean Ambrose going to kill Brock Lesnar?
I guess. I mean,
if it's moving and you're going to hit him with it, they're going to die, get severely injured. I mean, you're not going to use that in the match.
No, we all know that. It was kind of funny. Yeah, I guess Ambrose is supposed to murder Lesnar. I guess that's the point of that. I would assume. What if like he used a chainsaw and it just like grazed, like Brock Lesnar's pecs like repelled the chainsaw and broke the chainsaw because he's just a massive man. But anyways, we cut backstage to Kevin Owens and Stephanie McMahon. And this is when Kevin Owens appeals to Stephanie about the triple threat that he mentioned earlier. Stephanie was like, hey, you know what? I kind of like that. You came to me. That's cool. You interrupted my conversation with my husband, but whatever. That's cool. I'm glad you came to me. You can make that match. And all I got to say about this segment is the little, like, the kind of like the little kid character that Owens was playing was hilarious. He was like, hey Stephanie, hey Stephanie, hey Stephanie. He was asking his mom if he could do something. And a lot of people might be mad with that. I mean, I haven't heard a lot of people complain about it, but I could see why people would be mad at that. But to me, I thought it was great because he's a heel. He should be kissing the Authority's ass, and it's, I liked it. I thought it was cool. He's so good. He's so good. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
No, I was tweeting out the podcast, so you can get
cool.
Plug there. At
Nice.
Casual Smarks, you can ask questions there, and they will be answered later on in the show.
Oh, nice. For sure. Yeah, remember, at Casual Smarks, CASUALSMARKS. I got it this time. I didn't stumble. Yeah. Oh, I just botched that. I'm not doing it again. That was the only time you'll see me do that.
Botched. Ziggler said Botchamania tonight.
He did. Which comes up. That's way later in the show, huh?
Yeah, it is way later in the show.
No, but you're right. He did. That was a pretty cool little thing. But or was that
What's
earlier?
Next in this great show?
That actually wasn't later in the show. That was earlier in the show. That was when they all came out to interrupt Kevin Owens.
So what's next in this great
So what's
show?
next?
Was Monday Night Raw.
Well, we have a Shane McMahon video package, which was awesome.
Yeah.
That was probably the second highlight of the show for me. We're just those two
video packages are just so good. They're just so good at making matches, like in storylines, like all.
You know what I did? You know what? I don't have it here, but I do have a question. All right, I love these video packages. They were great. There was two of them. We'll just talk about them both now. They kind of went through Shane's career, his training, what people were saying about the match, like legends like Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, et cetera. But question, Steve, we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, right?
Yes.
Correct. All right, we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. There was no Brock Lesnar on the show.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Shane McMahon,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think we would both agree that those are literally probably the top three drawing names for this year's WrestleMania. Like even Triple H and Roman Reigns are underneath them in terms of star power. What the fuck?
I don't. Those are all their big match guys.
Excuse my French. But what the hell, man? I don't get it. They should all hands on deck. They should at least if you're not gonna have those three names there.
Exactly. I mean, they're selling the ticket. They're selling the seats. So.
Yeah, but I mean, are they selling network subscriptions? Are people excited to see this? I mean, I guess people just watched WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania. But dude, I
got the Raw ratings.
Man. Oh, go ahead and look that up. Do you mind if I?
Yeah,
while you look at
Raw drew 3.399 million viewers.
Down, right?
Down 1.7% from last week, 3.457. First hour drew 3.466. Second hour drew 3.416. Final hour drew 3.317. So not a massive drop in the third hour, but it's.
What's scary?
They didn't hit 4 mil.
No,
WrestleMania.
Do you know what's
scary?
scary?
A couple weeks ago.
Huh? I think they hit 4 mil a couple weeks ago. Do you know what's scary, Steven? Is
No?
I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be like a 2.5 rating. That's kind of where they've been at right now. This is WrestleMania season, and they're at a 2.5, or that's what they're kind of averaging around. Last year, this time, they were still over a 3. What happens when WrestleMania is over, and especially if it's a stinker of a show? Like, what happens? Are they going into the ones now? Are we just going to continue?
You got
to see
the
them
Raw
decline?
after WrestleMania is going to get a good rating as always.
Well, it always does.
But after that, yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the WWE. So next we get a huge filler segment. I mean, it advances a feud, but no one. I mean, if I were not doing taking notes for this podcast, I probably would have tuned out. you have the League of Nations and the New Day. League of Nations comes out. Sheamus boasts about how the beat down that the New Day suffered at the hands of the League of Nations last week. Then the New Day comes out, calls the League of Nations trash for what seemed like an hour. It dragged on way too long.
And they're still kicking trash out of the ring. It's that second or third time in a row.
God, it was terrible. But so a brawl ensues. And then we get Big E versus Rusev. There was some cool we won some booty chants. I thought that was
also cool. A sign where there was also a sign in the crowd that said "I eat booty."
That's not very PG.
Yeah.
Was it booty O's or booty?
No, booty.
Straight booty.
Oh, straight booty.
Nice. I bet you the WWE didn't even realize what that means because they're so out of touch. No, anyways, yeah. So there was that. I didn't even see that. That was a good eye there, Steve. Yeah, and Rusev put Big E in an accolade in this match. Could you remember when that move was over, Steve? Remember when that move was like a devastating finishing move?
Yeah, I mean when Rusev was relevant.
Yeah. So Big E got out of that in about 5 seconds. And then for the second week in a row, instead of, someone like Wade Barrett who's going to leave the company in about 5 months, no, they're like, let's throw Rusev out to the wolves and have him
screw this guy Rusev.
So the guy who could have went head-to-head with Brock Lesnar at last year's WrestleMania, and we went in about it an eye, is now jobbing to last week Xavier and this week Big E.
He got pinned by Xavier Woods.
So that's all I'm going to say about this. I do not care about this match. I do not care about this feud. Done. All right.
I guess you guys can see the central theme of Raw tonight. You just don't care.
Yes. Then we have a generic Bray Wyatt promo, which didn't add anything, so we're not going to talk about it.
Do you know what the heck he's ever talking about?
I did when he first started doing them. It's not his fault. They just don't give him. There's no reason for us to believe in what he's saying because he loses every feud he's in. Let's not even talk, dude. Honestly, the Wyatts give me heartburn, because Bray is so good, and the way they've treated him,
and still loves him. They hold up the flashlights and all this. So the crowd loves the Wyatts. It's just, yeah.
Are you ready for my third highlight of the night?
No.
I'm not being sarcastic at all. This is my third highlight of the night. Apparently, Natalya is Todd Chrisley when she is mad. Hey guys, my name's Todd Chrisley. Do the Todd. I don't even. Okay, no.
The roles were reversed. She got a puppy.
So that was that. Then we have a Big Show promo, which is all filler once again. I do have a couple of notes from this segment. Byron said that the Andre Trophy could change a superstar's entire career. Tell that to Cesaro.
Tell that to Big Show.
Yeah, tell that to even Big Show. So apparently Big Show's a face now, and he talked about how he did say that despite in the past when I said Andre wasn't the greatest giant of all time, he really is the greatest giant of all time.
So how long do you think this Big Show face run is going to last?
Probably till next week. No. But yeah, no, he says it's important for him to be a 2-time winner in honor of Andre's legacy. And then the Social Outcasts come out and interrupt. And then Kane comes out. And apparently they're not.
I wrote notes on this. This makes sense. Yeah, no. You thought he might have came out to Taker match because he hasn't been on TV in a while. I mean, definitely not special anymore because he came out with the Big Show.
Oh, I don't think he's coming out in the Taker match. And there goes one of my signs.
Oh, that's a Jericho. Not Jericho. That's a CM
That's
Punk
my Punk autograph. I know. It's good stuff. And then in my opinion, Kane delivered a terrible chokeslam to Big Show off the top rope, but Steven disagreed with me. He thought it was pretty cool. So
what?
The chokeslam. I thought it was pretty bad.
It wasn't a fail. It wasn't a botch. It looked good.
Anyways,
so Kane's gonna be the Battle Royal.
Yeah, it is what it is. Next up, we got Chris Jericho versus Fandango in a WrestleMania Rewind match from their, I think it was WrestleMania 30 where Fandango went over Chris Jericho.
When is the last time Fandango's been on Raw?
I have no idea. I do not care.
Zack Ryder's been on Raw more than him.
Ready for the word of the day, Steve? This match was complete filler.
Woo!
I don't have anything about this match. I have AJ coming out, and he did pretty much the same thing that Y2J did to AJ early in the show, but because Fandango sucks so bad, he didn't actually cost Jericho the match. Let's see. AJ says Jericho pretty much runs away. AJ says that Jericho's the best of the world at running from him. And then AJ challenges. Yes. Y2 Jackass. I thought that was kind of funny. And then AJ challenges Y2J to a match at WrestleMania, the match that we all expected. I went on WWE's YouTube just to follow up with this segment because they posted Jericho's response. And on their YouTube channel, Y2J said he would rather sit out of WrestleMania than give AJ Styles the opportunity to make a name for himself at Y2J's.
Great heel.
So we know they're going to face each other, but I'm sure on SmackDown. Okay, here's the thing. I just hope they don't do the whole, you're a coward, I'm going to insult you, and then the heel's like, oh, you made fun of me and insulted me, I have to take this match. Like thing again, that pisses me off. That's what they did for the last match that AJ and Y2J had, and if they do that again, I give up on this company because they don't know what they are doing. All right. So that's honestly, I thought this segment fell flat. I like Chris Jericho and AJ, but I didn't get much out of it for the second week in a row on Raw. On SmackDown, their shit's been pretty good, but on Raw, it hasn't been good. Next, we have a triple threat number one contenders match, which, hey,
I need to talk about this.
You will. Let me just let me tell you one thing. Kevin Owens' ring announcing was fucking funny as hell.
God, he's great, dude.
He was like he's like when he announced so basically he comes out and you expect it, him to announce Miz, Sami Zayn, and Dolph Ziggler. Well, he says, okay, this man is a total star. Probably the biggest star we have in the WWE. So you think, the Miz because he's an actor and he's been in movies and stuff. No, it was Stardust.
Great movies.
Yep, and then Kevin Owens says this guy has traveled all around the world. He used to wrestle under a mask, and it ended up being Sin Cara. And then, last but not least, you had him talking about Ziggler, who's been just waiting for his shot for a spot. He's been with the WWE for years, and we got Zack Ryder. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Steve. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, I was just going to rant on how this match ended by disqualification.
Okay. Yes. Wait 1 second. Yes. So we have this complete filler match. Kevin Owens is on commentary. He was hilarious. Then you had Sami Zayn, Miz, and Dolph Ziggler come out, kind of like, what the hell? We thought this was our spot. This should have been our spot. And they kind of confront Owens. Owens throws Sin Cara into one of them, which is kind of funny too. And the ref calls for the bell.
A triple threat has never, ever been a disqualification match. Like there's no disqualifications in a triple threat match.
Zero logic to this. Didn't make any sense. It upset me. It upset me greatly.
Awful, terrible logic.
I was kind of just hoping Kevin Owens would go into the ring and lay them all out, like all three of those jobbers out, and then be like, oh well, we can't have a match at WrestleMania. None of these guys were able to compete.
Yeah, you had a good idea last night. Like, the person that wins can get added in a fatal four-way. Maybe Stardust would win.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Why not have like Stardust win, and then there you go, there's your fatal four-way. Or
hey, Valentine. Nice show, guys. Thank you, man.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot. We try our best to come out with entertaining content. Sometimes we slip up here and there, but is what it is. Next, we cut to KO and Stephanie backstage again. And
KO was great. KO just looked like a little kid tonight. It was funny.
Here's where things get interesting, and I have a lot of notes on this. So stay tuned. We have Stephanie McMahon, and she's on the phone with Triple H, and now she's had it up to here with Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens, was basically saying, "Hey, we need help." I don't know what you need help. Kevin Owens basically was like, "Hey, did you see what happened out there? None of these guys deserve a match. You need to do something about this. They shouldn't have interrupted. And then Stephanie was like, okay, I've had it up to here with you. You're facing all 6 of them. Okay. So I expected a multi-man match at WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong. We're talking Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, and Stardust added to this match. For one, what have he done to deserve a title shot right now? Right? Besides lose for the last couple months. I mean, and 2, and this is what I thought was really, really, really apparent. Just look at the lack of roster depth they have now. I mean, listen, Stardust and especially Zack Ryder and Sin Cara being in this match just shows how thin the roster is. I mean, those spots. I mean, if not for all the injuries, would have went to guys like Daniel Bryan, for example. He was in the ladder match last year. Would have went to Randy Orton, Cesaro, and Neville, who was actually planned to be in this match. Guess who was his replacement? Neville's replacement was Zack Ryder. They decided to throw Zack Ryder in there at the last minute.
Good for Zack Ryder.
Good. I'm happy he's going to get his WrestleMania moment. Okay, I'm not bashing Zack Ryder. I just don't think in storyline it makes any sense for him to be in this match. But yeah, no. And then you have also guys like Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus who are stuck in a crappy stable with the League of Nations. They could have been in this match too, and it would have made it more legit. Sheamus is a former WWE champion, so I mean, half of the competitors is. What I don't like about this is that half of the competitors in this match are have no chance of winning. In fact, there's only 2 people who really do. It's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And it's probably going to be Kevin Owens, and I hope it's Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
I was good. You know what I don't like? I also didn't like that this is that she made this a ladder match. That it's pretty much a rehash of last year's ladder match. It's the same idea: 7 people in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Champion. Sure, it'll be a good match. It'll be a car crash of a match, and it will be fun. It'll probably be one of the matches of the night. But it just, to me, I would have rather had like your Fatal 4-Way. I thought that was fine with the Miz and Ziggler, Zayn and Owens. And then you have, like I said on last week's podcast, have Zayn hit the haluva kick on Miz or on Ziggler, and then have Owens pull Zayn out of the ring, powerbomb him on the apron, come in, steal Zayn's victory. But, all right, you have anything to add to that? Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there.
So what is Golden Truth saying for WrestleMania?
Oh, Golden Truth.
They could have been.
I think they're going to be added to the Dudleys and the Usos thing. Probably be a pre-show match, I'm assuming. That's what I think is going to happen. But no, anyways, dude, yeah. I don't even know where that Golden Truth segment falls. I have no idea. We're just not going to I'm not going to talk about it. That was all filler. Who cares?
Yeah.
So anyways, so now we cut to one of the highlights of the night.
Oh, yeah, I have 2 notes on this. That's the only thing I have for the show since what was next? The Lesnar? Not Lesnar.
No, next was Natalia versus
Charlotte. Ambrose. Oh, okay. Ambrose,
No, you're thinking of, there's a lot. There's the Vince segment in between that too. But no, you're good. You're good. No worries. It's such a forgettable Raw. I don't blame you. You know what I mean? Like yeah. But you have so then we cut to backstage and we have Stephanie trying to leave the arena because she has a bad feeling about Roman Reigns. Triple H arrives to pick her up. Roman standing there like Superman when the garage.
That's what I wrote. I wrote he's casually standing there behind the garage door. He's just like, I mean,
which don't get me wrong, that would have been cool if he was even the slightest bit over, but he's not. Exactly. And predictably, Roman's ready for them. He goes to the car. He tries to beat up Hunter. The crowd is booing Reigns out of the building because
he got no reaction.
It's too little, too late for Roman. No, there was boos. There was audible boos. You could hear the boos.
There was no reaction and boos.
Oh, when he came out earlier in the show, there was no reaction. Yeah, when he came out to interrupt Stephanie,
because nobody cares.
Because Triple H is the face in this feud, even though he's not supposed to be. Right? I'm rooting for Triple H. Triple H is doing his crotch chops. He's putting over Ambrose. He's to me, it's almost like Triple H is intentionally trying to make Roman look bad, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah, WWE hasn't learned anything with Roman Reigns. Hopefully they surprise us at WrestleMania with him, but I doubt it. Moving forward, we got Natalya versus Charlotte in another filler
Charlotte
match.
had the flu in this match.
I know. Did you see that too? Yeah, it's a complete filler match, but I do got to give her props because, like you said, she had flu-like symptoms.
You had Sasha and Becky on commentary saying, "I should be in this match. I'm better than you." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, they were bickering. I'm not gonna get mad at them.
Yeah,
per se. I mean, they don't get a lot of
that's
they don't get a lot of
that's
time.
what they want them to do. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably came out there and were scripted on commentary. Like, no lie, that's what it sounded like to me.
not in a good way.
Not in a good way. But yeah, next we have Shane McMahon, Undertaker, and Vince McMahon. No, I'm kidding. Just Vince McMahon. No, they were advertising this segment all night, and they didn't explicitly say Undertaker or Shane was going to be there. But the way they were advertising it didn't seem like they were.
I thought
be
The Rock
segment.
was going to be there. That's what I was going to say about this. Yeah, I thought the announcement was going to be that it was going to be a special guest referee, and it was going to be The Rock, Shawn Michaels. No,
maybe Stone Cold because it's in Texas. Yeah,
Stone Cold.
Or McFoley, because isn't McFoley supposed to get involved in a feud? Dude, I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, so despite the company advertising this segment like they would be in the segment, there was no Shane, there was no Taker. Like I said earlier, it's crazy how those three, even including Brock Lesnar, so you have Shane, Taker, and Lesnar, it's crazy how none of them were on the show just 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Vince says Shane was right about one thing, that The Undertaker is his bitch. And if he fails to defeat Shane, this WrestleMania will be his last.
Yeah, he said this is gonna. He just said it out of nowhere. Like, the crowd had no reaction because it just kind of happened. Like, it wasn't even like everyone's just like.
I have a
no
question.
Reaction.
Do you think this is the Undertaker's retirement match?
Unfortunately, now it leads me to believe so.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I wish this was his retirement match this year. If he had a good story behind it, I'm glad it's not, because honestly, the story so far is
just adding this just makes it a little bit more obvious that Shane might win. But I don't know.
Well, it's kind of crazy. And I know some people said, well, Shane's only taking control of Raw. So,
yeah, I was about to say that too.
But I was going to say, still, even if Reigns just controlling Raw, that means that next year's WrestleMania, if he's still in control of Raw, he gets to make Raw matches, right? So couldn't he just sign The Undertaker to Raw and then put The Undertaker in a match on Raw? Like, when they had the brand extension, you had the SmackDown general manager and the Raw general manager both making for WrestleMania. So why couldn't Shane McMahon just hire The Undertaker?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that, but I guess you kind of answered it there. Like, if the Authority ran SmackDown and he ran Raw, would that be a brand split? But Teddy Long did it, and whoever was on Raw was the anonymous Raw general manager, I think.
So I thought this segment was really poor. I thought it was poorly executed. But even despite that, it should have been the main event. I mean, why did this go on second to last and Ambrose Strowman go on last? Is my question. Even though this segment
ordering is not.
Even though this Vince segment wasn't great, it couldn't have been worse than Ambrose versus Strowman. Jesus Christ. And let's go to that match. Dean Ambrose versus Braun
next time there is a Bray Wyatt backstage segment, me and my brother like to pause at facial expressions that Braun Strowman makes. So just believe me, you'll crack up. All right, anyways.
That's Braun Strowman's face. For real. No, anyways, yeah. See,
everyone was so excited for.
So we have a all-time classic of a main event of Raw. You have Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman, and here's my note for this match, in capital letters: Filler Central. Who cares? Terrible match. They didn't do anything. It was horrible. Strowman sloppy. Ambrose wasn't at his best. The only thing good about it was Heyman was on commentary. But to be honest with you, I tuned out completely. I didn't even watch most of this match because I was so uninterested in this match. There was "Let's Go Cena," Cena sucked chants. There was "This is boring" chants, which is kind of what got me back into it. It's almost like WWE made this Raw and this main event as an intentional middle finger to to the crowd, like, hey, you booed our guy out of the building last year, and we knew you were going to boo him out of the building today, so fuck you, Philly. Here's a shitty Raw. It sucked, and the crowd was out of it, and by the end, they were pissed off, and it was 2 weeks before WrestleMania. You can't be doing that. You can't be putting out a crapper like this.
That's the only reason there's ratings right now, I bet, too.
Yeah, dude, seriously, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid. The ratings deserve to go low with what they've been putting out, and hopefully once they get low enough, they'll change their ways. But I mean, I'm not really encouraged by what they've done so far. But yeah, so we have the "this is boring" chants, and then the match ends with Ambrose getting DQ'd by attacking Strowman with a chair. I mean, it basically the point of this, even though I don't know if anyone was watching by the end of it, but the point of this match was to show that Ambrose can beat a monster. If there's no rules, like he got disqualified and he lost the match. But
he hit him with the chair, put the chair in like the middle of the ring, and hit the dirty.
Yeah, so basically, it showed, like you were saying, it showed that he could beat a monster like Brock Lesnar, or a monster like Braun Strowman, if there's no rules. Like if he is able to use a chair and maybe that barbed wire bat, that'd be pretty cool, right?
Maybe the chainsaw.
Oh yeah, maybe the chainsaw, start hacking off some limbs, or just watch it, glare off of Brock Lesnar's bulletproof skin. But okay, so that's Raw for you, and I'm gonna give this show. Actually, I'm gonna ask you first. What would you give this show out of 10?
3 out of 10.
Holy crap! You and I both have given it a 3 out of 10. That's crazy. I give it a 3 out of 10.
I give it 3 out of 10, and those 3 go to Kevin Owens.
Exactly. No, I mean, right on. To me, it was one of the worst Raws in recent memory, and that is saying a lot. You know what I mean? Because we've had a lot of crapper Raws lately within the last 6 months for sure. Like you said, the only thing that made this Raw 3 as opposed to a 1 was the Kevin Owens. Like he was intertwined in the show in a way that made it somewhat watchable, and he's just an entertaining dude, so props to Kevin Owens. It's proven how valuable of an asset he is to the company, and I'm really hoping that he gets a main event run sometime soon. But yeah, overall we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, and I'm not wanting to watch WrestleMania more than I was before. In fact, honestly, if I wasn't a wrestling fan, I wouldn't tune in to WrestleMania this year with the way they've been building it.
I want to tune in less after this show.
I would, yeah. I mean, there's no reason I wouldn't pay $9.99 to see this if, I wasn't already so invested in the product. But moving on, that was Raw. And we're going to end this podcast pretty soon, but I do got a couple of notes for after Raw, if things weren't already bad enough for the WWE following that edition of Raw, they had a dark match main event, and Luke Harper, it seems he blew out his knee. Also, what happened in that match was Braun Strowman went outside the ring and was hanging on the barricade, and a fan fucking uppercutted him, like straight up uppercutted him. Like, man, okay, can I tell you guys something? I don't care how much you hate the product. Don't. That's not how you show your displeasure for the product. That's completely immature.
Stupidity.
It's stupidity, and soon they're going to start pressing charges, and these guys are going to, get in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Yeah, whatever happened to that dude that hit CM Punk at the Raw we went to?
Well,
or that he hit him.
I just kind of remember I got blamed. Like they put my name as that guy for a while.
Oh God!
Because I wrote it. They did, dude. If you still look it up, it will say CM Punk hit Matthew Ignatiff. When all I did was I sent an email to Wrestling Inc. about how I saw what happened and how because Punk was getting shoved. He was getting shoved. Someone did hit Punk. Punk just hit the wrong guy in retaliation, which I mean is what it is. But anyways, so we wish, we give Luke Harper our best wishes. Hopefully it's just it was a fluke thing and he gets back really soon. And once again, guys, do not hit the performers. That is dumb. And hopefully, I wouldn't be upset if they just started telling their performers, "Hey, hit back." Strowman should have clocked that guy in the face because it wasn't even like it was questionable. Oh my God, yeah.
One punch, gone
straight up. Also, another big news article that broke, or news story that broke over the weekend.
TNA.
Yeah. We won't spend too much time on this, but Bobby Roode and Eric Young, they both requested a release from TNA Impact Wrestling. Two guys who have been with the company since pretty much its inception. Two guys that made their names in TNA. Question for you, Steven. Do you see either of them winding up in NXT?
I'm not a big follower of TNA or their guys, but I mean, what else?
You've seen them though, right? I think Bobby Roode
so,
and
what else would they do?
Well, Ring of Honor. That's what Magnus did. And then AJ Styles went to
one of
New
them.
Japan.
One of them probably at least.
Both would make really good fits. Eric Young, I'd love to see in NXT. I don't know if he has the tools to be on, like he has all the tools to be on the main roster, but I could see him as being the type of guy they keep down there to put over some of the guys that they're trying to build. Bobby Roode has the look. He has the charisma. I could see him being on the main roster in the WWE one day, but I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think this was because of late pay?
I don't know. I think it's because they were bringing other people into the company and paying them more than these two guys who, recently wanted. I'm pretty sure there was contract disputes a couple months ago about pay raises, and they didn't get them. So now, if the TNA is bringing in guys like who's the guy who's married to Maria, Mike Bennett, and they're paying him a lot of money, I would be disgruntled too. But who cares? Anyways, that's that. And then,
I am so excited for NXT TakeOver Dallas and not WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely more excited for the Dallas show. We'll talk more about. By the way, guys, cheap plug. Tune into our Friday podcast. That's where we review NXT and SmackDown, and we also go through a lot more news than we do on this podcast. This is pretty much strictly a Raw podcast, for the most part. If there's a big story.
Show.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show. It's a long show.
That's 1.5 times like a movie.
All right. Yeah.
Every week.
And
for years. No end.
I just want to end this podcast. I'm going to ask you guys. By the way, for that for that Friday podcast, go ahead and send in questions, comment in the comment section below, and we will answer any questions that you have. I want to end this podcast off with a question. Considering the horrible build-up to so far with Raw the last couple weeks, are you even still excited for WrestleMania 32?
I mean, it's WrestleMania, so you got to be somewhat excited, but it's nothing like past years.
Agreed. I think it's going to end up being a good show because the build-up to last year's show sucked too, and it ended up being a good show. Problem is that you could have a good show, but it's not going to necessarily cause more people to tune in. What'd you say?
WrestleMania 27, the best one of all time, featuring the Miz main eventing.
Oh yeah, that was great. But that's we're gonna wrap it up. So thanks you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next Friday, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Peace.